Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. Today we're going to look at creating a pattern like this, which is a series of sort of dots giving a sort of texture look. Now there are a few techniques in this video that will be really useful to you, and one of them is how you can get the dots in the first place. Now I'm over here at unsplash.com. I've looked up leaves images and I'm looking for images that are free. If they've got for Unsplash Plus, don't go there because you'll need to pay for them, but anything that doesn't have that is free. So this is an Unsplash image. I'm looking for something that has a lot of detail in it. Now there are a lot of images here that we could use. We could use this one. You really want a screen full of pretty much detail, because that's the sort of thing that we want to extract from our image. Now I've already downloaded the one I showed you. Any of these would be just fine. So let's go and open this image inside Illustrator. Here it is. Just going to click open. I'm going to press Control and 0, that's Command 0 on the Mac, so I can see my entire image. I'm going to Window and then Layers because we need to see what we've got here, and unsurprisingly what we've got here is an image layer. So we're going to select that. You need to make sure that that is targeted. And to extract shapes from this image looks like an impossible task, but it's actually really easy. We're going up here to Effect and we're coming down here to Effect Gallery. Now in the effect gallery are lots and lots of effects, and the one we're looking for is in the texture collection, and it's stained glass. Down here I'm just going to click to choose fit on screen so you can see what we're getting, and so you can see that the image is giving us little shapes. Now I'm going to increase the light intensity because ultimately I just want the white bits. So I want as many of them as I possibly can because I'm just going to grab them from here. I've got a cell size here of 24. I want fairly large shapes here, and I want a border thickness that's pretty thick because I want plenty of space between my shapes, and the border thickness is going to give me that. So once you get something that looks a bit like this, you're just going to click OK. And so now we've got an image. As you can see, it's still a bitmap image, but it looks very different to what it looked like before. Up here on the toolbar, you should see your image trace tool. If you don't, you can choose Window and Image Trace. And I'm just going to click OK. It's not really that big an object, so I'm not really too much worried about it. Now we want our panel so that we can see what we're doing. And here I have a tracing result being shown, and I have black and white. Now we can increase the threshold value to change how much of this is converted into black and how much is converted into white. You'll see that reducing the threshold value in this case is going to give us more white shapes just as soon as Illustrator catches up with me. I'm looking at this area being the area that I actually want to retain. So once I've got a fairly good amount of sort of shapes here, I'm just going to click Expand. And that turns it into a traced object. So now we have a group here, and most of these are white, but down towards the bottom are going to be the black ones. And in particular, what I'm aiming for is this one down here. At the very end of the group here is a compound path, which is all of the black bits. So I'm just going to select it and press delete. Now it looks like we've deleted everything, but we haven't. It's just that what's left is white. So I'm going to select everything. You can just click select all or Control A. And now we're just going to make this a color. So let's go to our swatches panel. I'm just going to grab a black so we can see what it is that we actually have. So these are the shapes that we've got, and they are all inside a group. So the first thing we're going to do is ungroup them. So we'll need to click on the group to select it, and then we'll go to Object Ungroup. And now I want to get rid of what I'm not going to use. So I'm just going to select here and try and make a sort of rectangle out of this. And the rectangle is going to contain just shapes. So anywhere where I don't have shapes, I'm just going to carve those off. Okay, so this is what I'm left with. I want it to be roughly a square. I'm going into the transform panel here. You can see these are its dimensions. I'm just going to take them up to the next nearest value, which is 1600 by 1600. Just so it's square, just makes life a whole lot easier. And remember what it is that you set it to. So now I've got my black shapes, but you can see that there's a lot of space between them. So what we're going to do is shrink them down. We're going to select them all. We're going to Object Transform and then Transform Each. And I've been in this panel just recently, so let me just set it back to what it was. And this is what you should see when you come into this panel. I can scale all of my shapes. So I'm going to take them all down to 50% of what they were. So you can just sort of eyeball it and see if it's enough. You might want 60% of its original size. You just want to make them a bit smaller so there's plenty of space between them. So I'm just going to click OK. The other thing we're going to do with these is we're going to round the edges of them, because you'll see if we have a look at them that they're pretty sort of angled around the edges. So let me go and select everything again. We're going to Effect and then Stylize and then choose Rounded Corners. And in Rounded Corners, we're just going to increase this to maybe, for my shapes, about 20 pixels and click OK. And so now everything has rounded edges. I'm going to select everything again because what I need to do is to expand that. I'm going to Object and Expand Appearance, and that sort of bakes that rounded corner into all of my shapes. So let's have a look again at what we've got. We've got a 1600 by 1600 collection of little shapes. Now they're all a bit ordered, so let's go and select them again. Let's go to Object Transform and let's choose Transform Each. This time I don't want to scale them, so I'm going to leave them at 100%, but I am going to move them. Now at this stage I'm moving them 20 pixels horizontally and 20 pixels vertically, and they're all moving 20 pixels horizontally and 20 pixels vertically, which for scaling, doing it to everything exactly the same just work perfectly. But in terms of movement, I want to break this up. So I'm going to set it to 20 pixels horizontal and vertical, but I'm going to click random. And so that means that they're going to be moved 20 pixels horizontally as a maximum, somewhere between 0 and 20, and somewhere between 0 and 20 vertically, but a random amount. And you can see that it's breaking things up. If you think it's too much or too little, you can just adjust it. What I'm looking for is not having too many pieces running into each other, but I think I look pretty good there. So I'm just going to click OK. So there are my black shapes. What I'm going to do is put these all in a group. So I'm going to Object and then Group. So here in my Layers panel is a group of black objects. So now I'm going to just drag it onto the plus symbol here to make a second one. I'm going to select the one behind, and I'm going to my swatches panel. I happen to have some browns already selected, but you could just go and select colors. Let's go and see this. I'm looking for a sort of yellowy brown, so I'm in the sort of oranges here. So I'm just going to color that yellowy brown, but because it's directly behind the previous group, it's not showing. But if I grab it and hold the Shift key, I can rotate it 90 degrees, and now it's still 1600 by 1600. It's still layered directly on top of the other one, but it's a different color, and because it's slightly offset because of the rotation, we're starting to build up this texture. So I'm going to do that again. This time I might grab it and rotate it first 90 degrees, and let's go and get another color to use. Now you can go lighter, you can go darker, it doesn't matter what you do, and we're going to see how easily we can change the colors up once we've got our pattern made. So I've got the collection all over again. Let's take it to its final rotation. I think I just lost what I did with that there. Let's just take it around 90 degrees and let's find another color for it. Maybe a sort of darker brown. So inside this we should now be able to see layers of our colors. You can see that that's what we're seeing here. I'm going to select everything with Control or Command A. And I'm going to make my pattern. I'm going to choose Object and then Pattern and then Make. Now in my pattern dialog here, I'm going to set this to begin with to the size of the rectangle, the square that I had in the first place, which was 1600 by 1600. I'm also going to show as many versions of this pattern as I can so that I can see things more clearly. I'm going to turn my artboard off with View and then Hide Artboard so that I can see what's going on, and I'm just going to zoom out because we need to see what's happening here. So now I'm just going to start bringing in the width. So I'm pressing Shift down arrow to just decrease the spacing. And to fine tune it, you might just press the down arrow key without the shift. What we're looking for is closing up these gaps, but without layering things on top of each other. So the line is invisible ideally. So now let's go and do that to this one here, this measurement here. Select it and shift down arrow. Now, if you're worried at this point about any of these sort of areas, you can zoom into this. I'm just going to turn my tile edge back on so I can see what's happening here. And you could go and grab some of these shapes just to fill up this area. Now, you're going to need to use the group selection tool. So you're going to come in here to the direct selection tool, but click on the group selection tool, and that will let you select individual shapes from the group. Once you selected the shape, you'll press the letter V to actually select it, and then you can drag to make a copy. So for example, you can Alt drag to duplicate it. I'm just going to zoom in because it's probably not zoomed in enough to be able to actually make this move. And Alt drag to duplicate it. Going back to the group selection tool to select another shape. Press the letter V to go into select mode, and then Alt drag to duplicate a copy into the area that you're trying to fill. I think my biggest problem is just around this edge here, so in a couple of minutes I can fill that in very easily. Just making sure that I get a variety of the colors to fill it in. When I think I'm happy, I'm going to turn off the tile edge, and I'm going to use the zoom tool here to again zoom out and just check to see that I've made a good fix. And really I just moved a few shapes around and I've managed to fill in those corners. So once you're happy with your design, you're just going to click done. We'll turn back on our artboard with view and then show artboards. I'm going to select everything. I'll just grab this layer here. I'm going to move everything out of the way. With my artboard, I'm just going to turn it from whatever size it was from the original image into a 1920 by 1080 artboard, which is screen size for me. I'll add a rectangle to it. I'll put that rectangle squared onto the artboard, making sure the fill is selected, and we'll go to our swatches palette, which is where our pattern is. Now we can size that with Object Transform Scale. I want to shrink it a bit so that I can see it a bit more clearly, so I'm going to take it down to 50%. I want to scale the pattern but not the object, the rectangle it's in, so I'm going to disable Transform Objects. I'm going to click OK, and then let's press Control or Command 0 to zoom into our finished pattern filled shape. Now because this is a pattern with the shape that is filled with the pattern selected, we can go into the Recolor Artwork dialog and make changes to the color. I'm going here to Advanced Options so I can get into the area that allows me to make those changes. I'm going to Edit. Now these colors were very dark and very sort of monochromatic, so what I'm going to do is drag to adjust the brightness. And then I can start moving the colors around. Now if it's too bright, I can just reduce the brightness here. I can also unlink these colors so that I can separate them a bit and just get a bit more variety in my colors. If I find a color combination I like, I'll just click OK, and then we can go back and recolor it yet again by clicking on the Recolor Artwork dialog. Go back into this Edit option. In this case, I'm going to drag my colors around to make it more blues and turquoise. Click OK, and we'll find in the swatches palette that we have different versions of this pattern. So we have the original design and then a sort of red version of it and then a turquoise version of it. This is a nice easy way to make one of these more complex patterns. I find that technique of grabbing shapes from an image by using the stained glass filter really handy for doing things like terrazzo patterns and just patterns where you want something interesting in terms of shape, but you do not want to have to go draw those yourself by any means. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you like it, give it a thumbs up, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comments what you thought about this particular design. If you like carefully researched content like this, clearly presented in a step-by-step format so that you can get great results, then you'll love my Skillshare content. I'm a Skillshare top teacher. I have hundreds of short courses on Skillshare that you can access along with thousands of other great courses, all for the price of a single subscription. If you're interested, there's a Skillshare coupon for you in the description below to use to sign up. Using this coupon benefits me as a creator, and it helps me continue to make free content available here for you also on YouTube. Thank you for joining me for this video tutorial. On the screen now, you'll see a video that I've hand-picked for you. If you enjoyed the video you've just watched, I know that you're going to really enjoy the one I've picked for you to watch next.